Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been a while. Sorry, with the pandemic and just everything going on, it's been kind of hard to post, but I'm back now. And as you can see, the title of this video is I'm gonna name it like, I don't know, I almost quit singing or something like that. So here's my story. Before I get into the video, like, comment, subscribe, give me some feedback or whatever. And so I'm gonna get into my story right now. So first, I want to start off by telling you how I started singing. And so I started singing when I was around 6 or 7 years old. I used to go, my family and we lived in Jersey, and I've been in church literally since the day I was born. and I was always in church, and my earliest memory, the earliest time I remember singing is I was in their kids choir, and we were singing this one song. I think it was like "Never Shall Forget What He's Done for Me." Never shall forget what He's done. Is it that one? No, I don't think it was that one. But anyway, it was something like that. And now it's gonna bug me because I can't remember. But that was like over 20 years ago. So, but anyway, so we were singing this song. Originally, they had another little girl sing it during rehearsal, and she sang lead for that song. I was just singing in the choir. But I remember the day of church service, the choir director pointed at me. She's like, you sing lead next. And I'm like, me? Like little old me? And I just grabbed the mic and closed my eyes, and I just sung like with all my might. And I don't remember how I sounded, but I think at the end of service somebody was like, "Oh, you did a good job." So I was like, "Oh, thank you." And so fast forward to a couple of years later, we moved to PA, and we joined the church, and my parents were like, we're gonna be in church, you have to join a ministry, you can't be sitting on the pews or anything. So I'm like 8 or 9 at this time. I think I'm 9 years old. So my mom just puts me in the kids choir at this church, and I was so nervous. I was like swaying and bumping into people next to me, and I was just like, I hated being in front of people, and it was so uncomfortable. So the next after church, I was like, "Ma, I don't want to be in the choir anymore. And I was crying. I'm like, please, I just had a lot of anxiety with being in front of people. And my grandmother was like, okay, if she doesn't want to be in the ministry, don't make her be in the ministry. So my mom was like, fine, but you're gonna do something in this church. And I was like, okay. And then, like everybody does, they go to be an usher, because that's like the default ministry. Like, hey, I'm not gonna do anything else, I'm gonna be an usher. So I was an usher, and I would go to, my mom was in the mass choir with my grandmother, and I remember just going to rehearsals with them and just like listening to the music and how the director would direct. And looking back, I was really, really into music. I didn't really think that, this phone's, sorry. I really didn't think I liked music any more than anybody else, but I just really loved music. And over time, I started to branch out a little bit, because the church, they started to have like a teen choir. So I remember like joining the teen choir here and there. As long as I didn't have a solo, I was fine. And also there was like a team, like praise team, that I helped like get together. And I remember one time I wanted to sing lead, but another girl wanted to sing lead, and I was very passive and I was like, okay, like you can sing lead. So I was very, passive about it. So I was like, whatever. And fast forward to, and now I'm like around 19 to 21 years old. And I had to be like 19. I don't know. There was a time when I was working a lot, and during the summer, and you get tired, you work at Saturday nights, and you don't want to wake up Sunday early for church. So one Sunday turns into another Sunday, Next I'm like not going to church for like almost probably 3 months. And around that time, my aunt and her husband at the time, they were starting a church, and they kept asking me like, oh, you should join our church. And I was like, nah, I don't really want to do it, don't want to join. And her husband at the time was like, oh, just come for one service. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll come for one service, and that's it. And he preached a message called What Is Your Purpose? And I don't remember exactly what he said. Sorry, this phone is slouching. I don't remember exactly what he said during the sermon, but I remember leaving like inspired to get back into church and get back into serving, and I knew that I was meant to sing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just go back to my church and just join. And I said, I'm going to join the mass choir. And I took like the classes that I needed to take, and I joined the big choir. And so when I joined, there was a minister of music there that he was hard to read. Like, for me, when I say read, like I couldn't really get his personality. I'm like, okay, like, because sometimes he seemed like strict, and then sometimes I would see him laughing and joking, so I'm like, okay, so he laughs a little bit, but he was very well trained, and he pushed the choir, and he was very anointed. He pushed the choir spiritually and vocally. He pushed the choir, and he had a very great ear, and he played the organ, the keyboard, and he wasn't really concerned about like how long rehearsal lasted, and he was just passionate about worship, and he wasn't afraid to call people out. So I would roll up, and I would come to rehearsal, like after working a 10-hour shift, I would go to Wendy's and get like a Baconator and fries and a soda, and then I would roll up to rehearsal sluggish, like and then then we singing whatever, and he's like, you're not singing. And I'm like, like me? He's like, you're not singing. I know you're not singing. And he called me out a couple of times. And the first couple of times, like I was like mad and sad, and like I would drive home like crying sometimes. I'm like, why is he always picking on me? And I'm driving home like crying. I'm like, okay, don't. I was like, don't crash anything. Like, so he was like stern, But I saw the results, like I heard the results from him, like pushing the choir, and just like I said, spiritually too. We spoke about the word and worship, and he really wanted us to understand how important worship is, not only in church but in our daily lives. And so this is where I was thinking about quitting. So after like a couple of rehearsals where he just called me out, and we were at this one church. We went away to sing at this one church, and I was in the bathroom with my one friend. We were talking, and I'm like, I'm about to quit. I'm about to quit singing. And she's like, no, don't quit. I'm like, I'm tired. Like, he's always calling me out. And it wasn't only him calling me out, but it was also for me personally, I hate those moments where when you feel like you're doing your best, but it's not good enough. And those moments for me is like helplessness and stuff. So it's like, okay, this is my best and still not good enough. So like, what am I supposed to do? So I was at that point where I'm like, I'm ready to give up. And then I was kind of intimidated by him because of his personality. But my friend was like, just go and talk to him. Just talk to him. So I was like, okay. Oh, one thing I was gonna say is, when I was in the mass choir, I was never the loudest one in the choir, but I noticed my strength was it was basically, I remembered my notes. Like, I always remember my notes, and even though I wasn't the loudest, like, I knew what we were supposed to sing. So, and the altos, because I'm an alto, and sometimes I sing tenor, but the altos around me, there was certain women, they would stand around me because they knew I knew the note. So if you ever go back to look at some of the videos from my church of the mass choir singing or whatever, it's like, it's the same people standing around each other. It's because they would stand near me to hear the note, so they knew what to sing. And so I knew that was like my strength. I'm like, okay, I remember my notes, I practice my notes. And for me, I'm like, I am a perfectionist, and this keeps sliding. I am a perfectionist, and then I'm working on the fear of failure. So with perfectionism and fear of failure and things like that, it forces me to like keep practicing. So it's kind of a good thing in some ways. But anyway, so I brought that up because it pertains to what I'm going to say next. So basically, after I spoke to my friend, I went to the Minister of Music, and so he was sitting in the dining area because we were eating before we go to the sanctuary for the second service. And I was like, can I sit here? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And come to think of it, this is probably the first or second conversation I have with him. But and he's like, I'm like, I don't know what to do, because I'm trying my best out there, and like, what do you want me to do? And what he said next, I was actually shocked to hear, but he said, I want you to step up. I was like, what? He's like, I want you to step up. I want you to be in front of that mic. I want you to be singing loud. I want you to be the loudest one in that alto section. I want you to step up and, do what you gotta do. And I was shocked because I'm like, honestly, I didn't know what he was gonna say. But to hear when he said that to me, I felt like he thought I had potential, and he just wanted me to push. He wanted to push me to be a better singer, and it felt good. It felt good, and when we went up there to sing, it was only me and one other alto, and again, I knew my part, so I was like, okay. I was like, here we go, like in my mind. So I stood directly in front of the microphone, sang my part, and the next rehearsal, he was like, you did a good job Sunday. He's like, you did a good job. And the other altos was like, you held it down? You held it down? And I was like, I guess. I don't know. I guess I held it down. I don't know. And I think that was the last rehearsal we had with him. And then that was a Thursday. I believe the Friday or the Saturday he passed. And because I remember receiving the phone call like Saturday morning, and it was weird. It was weird for me, you know, because I believe he was gonna work on stuff with me, but it was just weird because it was, I don't know, I was still in my mind, I'm like, wow. Like, you know, I don't even know. I still can't really, like, express it. But he did so many great things here before, you know, before he passed, and including sowing that seed in my life, and I'll never forget it. So that was definitely something that kept me going, and even today, you know, and now I'm on a praise team, which is still a shock to me because I'm like, interesting. If you would have told me maybe 5-10 years ago I was gonna be on a praise team, I would be like, nah, they're never gonna. In fact, I thought to myself, they're never gonna let me hold a microphone. They're never gonna let me be on the praise team because I don't have like a gospel-y voice, and my voice wasn't the strongest. And now I'm like, I'm actually on a praise team, and it's listen, never say never, never give up. And this is only the beginning, you know. So I did not quit singing. I still sing. I still love to sing, and I will continue to sing for the rest of my life. And there's just so much more that's going to be in the works. So whatever God allows, whatever God has planned, is going to happen. So that being said, again, if you like more content like this, like, comment, subscribe. I hope my video may have encouraged somebody that struggles with confidence or just being shy, or you're back and forth about singing or joining the ministry or something. Maybe this has inspired you, but don't give up. Have a good day, and God bless.